Submarines with nuclear power today are potent weapons. They can stay underwater for long periods as they quietly lurk beneath the surface. Though, how? How are more than 100 people kept alive underwater for up to 3 months at a time on modern nuclear submarines? In order to survive for such a long time underwater, these modern submarines must essentially solve 3 problems: food, water, and air. All submarines deal with these problems, but nuclear submarines, which tend to spend a lot more time submerged, are particularly vulnerable to them. If you're curious how these submarines feed more than 100 people while they're submerged, watch the entire video to find out. When you are feeding such a large group of people, simply throwing some ingredients into a pot and calling it a day is not the best way to handle the situation. There is a lot of planning and preparation that goes into it. Food is the main factor limiting how long a submarine can remain submerged. Submarines typically only carry enough food for 90 days and at a time have minimal storage space for large food items. Fresh food is typically only available for about 2 weeks, with the remainder of the trip being spent eating canned and frozen food. When you consider that submarines are already built to make the most of every square inch of space, the idea of preparing food in a tiny gallery can seem quite daunting. Since submarines typically operate apart from the rest of the fleet, deployments can last up to 180 days, and there is little contact with the outside world. And when you learn that these Navy cooks must make these meals without using open fire equipment, isn't that intimidating even more? Of course, it is. Submarines serve a variety of functions in the US Navy, including ballistic missile submarines that fulfill the primary mission of strategic nuclear deterrence and are capable of self-defense with torpedoes. Their contribution to national defense cannot be measured. Life on board US Navy destroyers is anything but simple. Zumwalt-class ships, for example, lack traditional decks and have galleys that are more spacious than those found on submarines, and allow mess hall cooks to prepare a broader range of foods using open flames. Finding small comforts is an essential part of life on a submarine. Still, it can be challenging when more than 100 people are sharing a 300-foot vessel that is mainly taken up by the engines, weapons, and other operational features. On a sub of the Los Angeles class like the USS Oklahoma, the galley is close to the crew's quarters. Underneath the command control and navigation center, the galley is so tiny that only 1 or 2 sailors will handle the majority of the cooking, even though there are typically 4 cooks assigned for food preparation. Ovens and flat tops are the primary meal preparation methods with no open flames. No submarine, regardless of class, is complete without a fully functional kitchen. Maintaining a crew's physical and mental health requires a healthy, varied diet. Large fryers and ovens, among other commercial cooking appliances, are available in the kitchens. The menu features a range of meats and vegetables in addition to some favorite home dishes like pizza and fried chicken. For breakfast, a typical week's menu might include eggs, waffles, or pancakes, assorted cereal boxes, fruit, and grits of hash browns. To add variety to the menu, there will be tacos, fajitas, and Mexican rice for lunch on a Mexican day. Burgers, hot dogs, barbecue beans, and chips are also available on slider days, while spaghetti, meatballs, and garlic bread are served on Italian days. Also available are grilled cheese, grilled ham, cheese sandwiches, grilled chicken, salad, fish sticks, and assorted cookies. Every Friday night, pizza is served for dinner, along with baked fish, grilled chicken, lunch leftovers on other days, and prime rib, lobster, or crab legs halfway through the patrol. Using hot metal trays to keep the food warm, food is served buffet style. Although the mess deck is small compared to most typical staff rooms, it has enough space for the entire crew to sit down. The mess deck has narrow tables and is a tight fit for the 34 crew members it can accommodate at one time. Food has a significant morale impact on submarines because there isn't much luxury, privacy, or comfort living inside these cramped submarines. Mealtime is a time for them to socialize and enjoy freshly prepared hot meals, which can occasionally make them feel at home. For a crew that works so closely together, having a pleasant and social dining experience is essential to morale. So how do they make food 500 feet below in the middle of the ocean? The Navy employs more than 8,500 culinary professionals in more than 300 facilities throughout the country and abroad. Meticulous planning and calculations begin months before the deployment, and suppliers are screened to ensure that the sailors are given high-quality, nutrient-rich food. The U.S. Army Veterinary Service assists the Navy in conducting food inspections and liaising with suppliers. The approved food is then given food label cards that are color-coded and sodium-coated. A registered dietitian with the U.S. Naval Supply Systems Command must plan and approve the menu. The menu is changed every few weeks because there is no window to indicate when it is time for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Before deployment, the ships are stocked with food and fuel for the crew. The bulk storeroom custodian, the leading culinary experts, the record keeper, and the food service officer inspect and record the delivered material. Depending on the size of the vessel, the culinary specialist may be required to prepare food for up to 5,500 crew members. The kitchen uses 1,600 pounds of chicken per day, 160 gallons of milk per day, 30 cases of cereal per day, and 350 pounds of lettuce per day. It's not like it's always a battle zone there. Occasionally, the crew will have some downtime where they can relax and have a barbecue on the flight deck. Wondering what happens when the food runs out? They are delivered with new supplies during a process of underway replenishment, which can be accomplished via the connected or vertical way method. Using a special stream rig, the supply and receiving ships are connected to transfer food supplies and fuel for the carrier's operational assets as they travel parallel to one another at the same speed and course. Vertical replenishment is a safer but more limited method of transfer, in which a helicopter shuttles between the two vessels to supply replenishment, allowing them to operate at a greater separation distance. The vertical route is preferred for replenishing submarines that resurface to be filled. A total of 5 replenishments and about $260,000 are spent on their food during a 6-month deployment. Their supply is dropped by transport planes, delivering enough to last 90 days or so. Due to space constraints, the submarines typically carry around 15,000 pounds of food, which is stored wherever there is room. With creativity, culinary skill, and the capacity to overcome challenges, they make up for any size or resource deficiencies in the kitchen or the vessel they are working in. After all, food not only provides energy, but also serves as a morale booster for sailors in the naval force. So what shocks you the most about submarine food culture? Share your thoughts in the comments section below. And that concludes today's video. We sincerely hope you enjoyed it. Please do so by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. To be notified of upcoming interesting videos, be sure to click that bell icon.